Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing something a little different.
Hmm.
We're going to be taking a deep dive into atomic habits.
Oh, cool.
Have you heard of this one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really popular book.
I feel like it's one of those books that kind of...
It's like everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere you see it.
Yeah, you see it in airports and,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's been recommended to
Like a New York Times bestseller.
by so many people.
Yeah.
So we figured, let's crack this one open and see what all the hype is about.
See if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's written by James Clear.
James Clear. Mm-hmm.
So
it's not your typical self-help book.
right. It's not one of those like rah-rah, you can do it.
Pump you up.
Yeah.
It's super motivational.
Yeah.
It's more about like the science of.
Yeah. The nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
How habits work.
Yeah. And how tiny changes can lead to
Yeah.
really big results.
Big impact. Exactly. Okay, so
Yeah.
I got to admit, when I first saw the title Atomic Habits,
Uh-huh.
I was a little bit like,
Yeah.
okay, is this
Gimmicky.
a gimmick?
Yeah. Like,
Like,
is this just kind of like a
Yeah.
marketing ploy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Is this just like a buzzword?
Yeah. Is this just a catchy title?
But then I started reading it, and I
Yeah.
was really surprised
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
substance there is to it.
It's really well researched.
Yeah.
He doesn't just like
Throw out
throw out platitudes. He
Yeah.
actually like backs it up.
site studies.
Yeah. He's got like footnotes and
So,
everything.
yeah, there's like a lot of research that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's break down this whole atomic habits thing.
Okay.
I think the first thing we should talk about is like,
Yeah.
what does he mean by atomic?
Right. What is an atomic habit?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Right, and so Clear compares habits to atoms,
Oh, yeah. Good
the
fact.
building blocks of matter,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
And he says that just like
Yeah.
atoms combine to create these
Complex structures.
complex structures, molecules and all that,
Right.
are habits. These seemingly small actions
Yeah.
are the foundation of everything we do.
Yeah. It's like those tiny little building blocks.
Yeah, that ultimately end up,
Creating who we are.
creating the big picture of our lives.
Mm.
And so that's kind of like the core concept of the book, is that
Right.
it's not about,
These big sweeping changes.
these massive overnight transformations.
Right.
It's about making these tiny,
Incremental changes.
these 1% improvements every single day,
And those compound over time.
like compound over time.
Exactly.
Okay, so that brings us to this
Yeah.
1% rule.
The 1% rule. Yeah.
What's that all about? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that he emphasizes
He talks about that a lot.
a lot in the book.
Yeah.
So what is he getting at with that?
So basically he's saying, like, don't try to be 100% better all at once.
Right.
Just try to be 1% better today than you
Yes.
were yesterday.
That feels a lot more
It's
manageable.
way more sustainable
Yeah,
than trying to overhaul your whole life
Yeah.
overnight.
I'm all about that. I love like
Yeah.
small wins.
Small wins.
I feel like
It's all about the small wins.
Yeah, that's how you actually make progress.
Yeah.
Instead of just like,
Burning yourself out.
burning out and giving up.
Right.
Totally. So,
That being,
but does he actually give you
yeah.
concrete strategies
Yeah.
for how to do that?
That's a great question because,
Is it easy to say, okay,
let's
wait.
be 1% better.
1% better, but like,
But how do you actually do that?
how do you actually
Right.
put that into practice?
How do you measure that even?
Yeah.
Or how do you even know if you're 1% better?
Exactly. And so,
So he gives you all these tools and strategies
like what?
in the book.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one of my favorite ones
Okay.
is habit stacking.
Habit stacking.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Is that where you like
It's where you
piggyback a new habit onto an existing one?
take a habit that you already have
Right.
and you basically like
Tack on down.
attach a new habit to it.
If,
So like
for example,
brushing your teeth,
brushing your teeth,
and then after brushing your teeth,
you floss.
you floss.
Ah.
Or you
Oh,
meditate for a minute.
Meditate for a minute,
Yeah.
or you do like 10 push-ups,
Okay.
something like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That feels very
It's very simple,
manageable.
but it's very effective
Yeah, okay.
because you're already doing that first thing anyway. So
Yeah.
you're just kind of like,
You're just adding on to it.
piggybacking.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what about procrastination?
Oh, procrastinate. Because I feel like I'm like the queen of procrastination.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. And sometimes even starting a 2-minute habit feels overwhelming.
Right.
So how does he address that?
Well, he has this rule called the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule.
Yeah, have you heard of that one?
I think I have, but
Yeah.
remind me.
It's super simple.
Okay.
Basically, the idea is
Yeah.
make the first step so easy
Yeah.
that you can't say no.
Okay.
So instead of saying, I'm going to write a novel,
Right.
you say, I'm going to open up my laptop
Yeah.
and write for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then usually what happens is once you get started,
You keep going.
you just keep going.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good mind trick.
It's all about like tricking your brain into getting started. Because once you get started, the momentum builds.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got like the 1% rule, habit stacking, the 2-minute rule.
Mm-hmm.
These all seem like really good.
Actually.
Yeah, like practical things that you can actually do.
Yeah.
But can these small changes really lead to like
that's the question, right?
big results?
Like, do they actually make a difference? And that's what's so cool about the book.
Yeah.
Is he gives you all these examples
Oh, really?
of people who have used these principles to achieve incredible things.
Like what?
Like he talks about Olympic athletes who've used these tiny little improvements to win gold medals.
Okay.
He talks about CEOs who've built billion-dollar businesses using these principles.
Okay, so he's not just talking about like
he's not just like everyday people
theorizing. He's actually
yeah.
giving you real-world examples.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's really backing it up with.
Yeah, he's got the data. He's got the stories.
Stories. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it also talks about how to use these principles to break bad habits too.
Oh. So it's not just about building good habits.
Right, because I feel like
it's all about
getting rid of
just as important.
the bad ones.
Yeah.
If not more important.
So we've got all these strategies. It's like we're building a toolkit here.
It's
like
a toolkit for behavior change.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's giving you all the tools you need
Awesome.
to like rewire your habits.
Okay, so I'm sensing there's like another layer to this.
There's another level.
Because we've talked about the actions, but he also talks about
beliefs.
Yeah.
This idea of like
identity-based habits.
Identity-based habits.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I don't totally understand.
It's basically like your habits are a reflection of your beliefs about yourself.
Oh, so like
if you believe that you're a healthy person, you're more likely to have healthy habits.
Okay.
But if you believe that you're
like a lazy person,
you're more likely to have lazy habits.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about changing your actions.
Doing the things.
Yeah.
It's about changing your beliefs about yourself.
Oh, okay. So
that's pretty deep.
It's a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Okay, so we're starting to get into like
we're scratching the surface.
The real nitty-gritty here.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to give away all the good stuff.
Yeah, we want people to
read the book.
We want people to read the book.
Yeah, discover it for themselves.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, we've given you a little taste.
A little taste.
Of what Atomic Habits is all about.
Yeah.
Okay, so last time we were talking about identity-based habits.
Right. Like how our habits are a reflection of our beliefs about ourselves.
Exactly. And it's not just about like
Yeah.
changing your actions. It's about
Yeah.
changing your underlying beliefs.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, Clear talks about this idea of like visualizing yourself as the kind of person who has the habits that you want.
Okay, so like if I want to be a runner,
Yeah.
I need to start seeing myself
As a runner.
as a runner.
Yeah.
Not just someone who like
Who wants to run.
Yeah, who like runs occasionally.
Or trying to run. It's like
Yeah.
you have to embody that identity.
Okay. I could see how that would be powerful.
Yeah, it's like a mindset shift.
Right.
It's like you're not just trying to change your behavior.
Uh-huh.
You're changing who you are at your core.
Okay, so it's like fake it till you make it.
Kind of, yeah. But it's more than just faking it. It's about actually believing it.
Right.
And then your actions will follow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a lot about the theory of habit formation.
The science behind it.
But what about the practical stuff?
Okay.
Like how do we actually...
How do we put this into practice?
It's in a practice. Yeah.
So Clear gives us this framework.
Okay.
Called the 4 Laws of Behavior Change.
4 Laws of Behavior Change.
Have you heard of these?
I think so.
Yeah.
But remind me.
Okay. So the first law is make it obvious.
Okay.
The second law is make it attractive.
Yeah.
The third law is make it easy.
Okay.
And the fourth law is make it satisfying.
Okay, so those all sound pretty straightforward.
Yeah, they're pretty simple.
But how do they actually work?
So let's say you want to start a new habit.
Okay.
Like let's say you want to start meditating.
Okay.
So to make it obvious,
Yeah.
you would put your meditation cushion
Okay.
in a place where you're going to see it every day.
Like right next to my bed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or if you want to drink more water, you would fill up a water bottle and leave it on your desk.
Okay, so it's about like...
Yeah, it's about making the cues for your habits more visible.
Okay, so you're more likely to actually do them.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then, to make it attractive, you would pair the habit with something that you already enjoy.
Okay.
So if you want to start exercising, you might listen to your favorite podcast.
Oh, I like that.
While you're working out.
Yeah, because I love listening to podcasts.
Right.
So if I could like combine that with exercise.
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
And then to make it easy, you would start small.
Okay.
So instead of trying to meditate for 30 minutes, you might just meditate for 1 minute.
Okay.
Or instead of trying to run 5 miles,
you
might just run for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Start small and then gradually increase.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And then to make it satisfying, you would reward yourself after you do the habit.
So like if I meditate for a minute, I can have a piece of chocolate.
Exactly. Or you could like take a hot bath.
Okay.
Or you could watch your favorite TV show.
So it's about like giving yourself something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's about making the habit feel good.
Okay, so it's not just about like...
Yeah, it's not about...
disciplining yourself.
White-knuckling it.
It's about like actually enjoying the process.
Making it enjoyable.
Okay, I like that. So those are the 4 laws of behavior change.
Those are the 4 laws.
And he says those can be applied to any habit.
Any habit, good or bad.
Okay, so we can use these to build good habits and break bad habits.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's still so much more.
Oh, yeah. We've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, to explore in Atomic Habits.
There's so much more to this book.
So what are some of the other things that he talks about?
Well, he talks about the importance of environment design.
Environment design.
Yeah, like how our surroundings can influence our habits.
So like if I'm trying to eat healthy, but I have junk food all over my house.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to help.
It's going to make it harder to stick to your goals.
Okay, so it's about like
it's
about setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, creating an environment that supports your desired habits.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So is there anything else that we should touch on before we wrap up this part?
Yeah, I think one more thing that's really important is this idea of the Goldilocks rule.
The Goldilocks rule?
Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, so basically the idea is that habits are most effective when they're challenging enough to be engaging, but not so difficult that they're discouraging.
So it's like finding that sweet spot.
It's like finding the sweet spot.
Okay.
It's like Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
Right.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah, not too hard, not too easy.
Just right.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. So it's about like finding that balance.
Exactly. So I think those are some of the key concepts from Atomic Habits.
Okay, so we've talked about identity-based habits, the 4 laws of behavior change, environment design, and the Goldilocks rule. That's a lot.
It's a lot to take in, but hopefully it's given you a good overview.
Yeah, definitely.
Of what the book is about.
So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll come back in the next part
to
wrap up our deep dive into Atomic Habits. Okay, so we're back.
Back for more Atomic Habits.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about this book for hours.
Seriously, there's so much in here.
Yeah, and I'm already like looking at my own habits differently.
Right, me too. It's like you start to see them everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. It's like you can't unsee it once you...
Yeah, once you start thinking about it.
Yeah, once you start thinking about it.
It's like, oh my gosh, my whole life is just a series of habits.
I know.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay, so let's recap a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked about the habit loop.
Yeah, cue, craving, response, reward.
The 4 laws of behavior change.
Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it satisfying.
We talked about environment design.
Yeah. The Goldilocks rule.
Identity-based habits.
So much good stuff.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But I think one of the things that I'm really taking away from this book is that it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about...
progress, not perfection.
Yeah, progress over perfection.
It's about those small, consistent improvements.
Yeah, it's about showing up every day and doing the work even when you don't feel like it.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah, and I think that's really empowering.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it means that anyone can change.
Anyone can build better habits.
Yeah, you don't have to be some kind of like superhuman.
You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you just have to be willing to put in the effort.
And to be patient.
Yeah, patience is key.
Because these things take time.
They do take time, yeah.
You're not going to see results overnight.
But if you stick with it.
But if you're consistent.
Yeah, eventually those small changes will add up.
Yeah, and they'll compound.
And they'll compound.
And you'll be amazed at the results.
So what's one thing that you're going to do differently?
That's a good question.
After reading this book?
I think I'm going to be more mindful of my environment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to start paying attention to the cues.
The triggers.
Yeah, the triggers that are around me and see if I can, like, tweak them.
Yeah, make them work for me.
Yeah, to make them more supportive of the habits that I want to build.
What about you? I think for me, it's about identity.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm going to start thinking about the kind of person that I want to be, and then try to align my habits with that identity.
It's just like you're creating a vision of your future self.
Yeah, and then working backwards to figure out
what habits.
Yeah, what habits will get me there.
Help you become that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great takeaway.
I think so, too.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Atomic Habits, I just want to say, if you haven't read this book yet,
I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it too.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It's really thought-provoking.
And even if you think you know everything there is to know about habits, I guarantee you'll learn something new.
Yeah, it's a great refresher.
Yeah, and it's just a really enjoyable read.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
So yeah, we highly recommend checking out Atomic Habits.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.